Alright, so I wasn't going to talk about the Ahsoka fights until the series was over, but then I saw a post on Facebook from Screen Rant that was touting this was the most amazing thing since bread, so I decided to check it out. And while I do think this article does overhype how good this fight is, I will say one thing, it is the best fight since the prequels. The one thing that I am fully in agreement with the article is that Ray Stevenson completely sold this fight. He really sold this character. I would even argue that he's the reason why the fight is good. So let's just jump into looking at the fight itself. Alright, so let's get started. Strike, strike, turn, moronic as usual. But now there's a cool part that happens. They start assessing each other. He takes this stance, she takes that. Nice. They settle. She decides to switch. He adjusts, then she adjusts. Like, this is cool to see, to actually see the patience to try and move around and get a feel for your opponent instead of just running in and it looking like a dance. I like the tension that's built here. I swing, goes for a leg, she jumps, and she swung at his face there. It's really, really quick, but if you go back just a little bit, she goes right for his face, and he has to dodge it, which is really cool. And we're back to normal speed. They're facing each other. They actually look like they're going for each other, and they have to block. It's cool that he has such a solid block going on here, and you can see him now pushing down and keeping eye contact. I hate VLC. Now, that is one of the cardinal sins, the spinning attack, the spinning jumps. I will say that he sells it in the speed and veracity of it, and she's kind of off kilter when he does it if you go back. But that being said, completely and utterly unnecessary. Overhand swing, so this is the same overhand swing, and he spins into it. She kind of stares at him and steps back. It is ferocious, so I can kind of understand why. But if she just points her weapon out, like he's dead, right? Even if he swings after. Either way, we continue. The weight crashing on the weapon, moving it to the side. That'd be really tough, but he's fine. Using the surfaces. There was a spin in there. I don't know how necessary that was. I will always say it's not. This is cool. Boom, jump off, swing. He moved out of the way, I'm assuming. Yeah, it was not necessary. But this follow through is really cool. She's gonna spin again. Yeah, that. Why? Especially in my memory, when he does that spin, he's like loaded. He's ready to go. So let's see that again. Yeah, so he's holding it here. As soon as she spins, all he has to do is bop. If his arm was somewhere else, or his weapon was pointed somewhere else, sure, but the way it is now, if I slow this down, oh, I clicked the wrong button. If I slow this down, she goes for the attack here, he parries it. As she spins, look, he's like so ready. He's so ready. All he has to do is drop hell in the middle of that spin. Either way, this is where we're at now. I like the use of the force in the environment. Spin, parry, fine. I don't know why, as she's charging him, he decides to turn his back to her. I think that's dumb. And like he does like a backward slash there. Okay. VLC being a VLC. That's cool, but there's a lot of, I don't know, it's a lot, it's really, it's not that great to me. She went for his face and then runs for the target. He's chasing her. He looks like he's intent. He's going for the attack. Don't know why that was his option. He does the whole, the moves that I hate the most in Star Wars that exist is the parry behind the back. Now I understand why he does it, because in this moment he goes for that swing, misses, and has to cover his back. But if he didn't use that swing, he wouldn't have to cover his back. It's it's not great. It's not smart. The follow through though is cool. Her spinning right there again. Okay, now I'm watching it in a slower pace. I'm liking it less. I thought there was less spins, honestly, when I was watching the past few times. Him grabbing her wrist when she reaches for it, cool. This locking of blades while her leg is on the pillar is cool. I'm not completely mad at it. This I'm mad at. Triple kick. The first kick, if she had her arm loaded, after the kick was done, bring down the lightsaber instead of initiating 3 kicks. If your plan is to win, there's no reason to initiate 3 kicks. Looks cool. And then we get this part. He comes in, brings down hell. I like that. That looked pretty fluid. He really loads that backswing, but I'm not super mad at considering her guard is completely down. Then we have the moment here. Yeah. Thrower. Yeah, it's fine. Boom. Thing is, he does wide swings, but he looks always in control as compared to the sequels, which I will talk about. And then he's just pushing. So the thing that's cool here is with the pressure he applies on her blade, she uses the force to hold it up. I like that. I like the force getting involved in the fights more, like throwing of objects, and then something like this. This is cool. I know it's happened in other scenes in Star Wars, but I'm happy to see it here, especially since he's such a powerhouse. So the reason why this specific lightsaber fight is the best one since the prequels is because there was problems with the sequel fights that this one fixes, and there's problems in the ObiWan fights that this one fixes as well. Starting with an easy comparison to the sequels, this guy Baylan uses a super long handle and uses it kind of like a longsword, kind of like Kylo should have. But Kylo uses like a freaking moron. This guy looks stable the whole time. He's basically a better fighting Kylo. Second, in the sequels, they look like complete amateurs the whole time. They look like they're wielding baseball bats and overswinging like crazy. These two have stable cores and are fighting with their limbs and keeping everything intact. They don't overreach. They don't go with their whole body. It looks clean. They look professional. Even if they're doing stupid spins every once in a while, they don't look, I don't know, it doesn't look childish. It doesn't look like two people flailing around with super heavy baseball bats. And in comparison to the sequels, that's a huge improvement. Next up is that the reverse grip in this is somewhat better. Ashoka uses reverse grip. That's known about her character. But the few times she used it here, she was going in for close combat, which I can kind of get. We weren't going to get rid of her reverse grip. It was so baked into her character. But in the sequel trilogy, they use it at the worst possible times, 24/7. It doesn't make sense. It's moronic to a fault. Not to say that I think even reverse grip in this context is an amazing choice, but I understand why it happened here. It was dumb to do it in the sequel trilogy. I mean, just like, look at this. He's walking up to her from a far distance, decides to put his crossguard weapon backwards. That's the smartest option you had, for sure. Yeah, look at how much their bodies are moving with every swing when they attack. Look at this. This is okay, but look at the overswing she just did there. Come on, show me. Yeah, whole body shifts. Couldn't just use her arm. Reverse grip for no reason. Full spin. Why are we here? This is just stupid. I feel like this fight with Ashoka was an improvement. It still had some elements, but it was better than whatever the hell this is supposed to be. Like, look at this. No. This is just moronic. Look how much he's going to swing his body. Whoa. 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 His heels are constantly lifting. He's never balanced, this man. He's constantly jumping. It's stupid. I realize I said Ashoka. It's Ahsoka. Moving on. Comparing it to ObiWan, the amount of cuts they have to do for this to feel, I don't know, exciting is ridiculous. Alright. Spins for no reason. But the camera's gonna jump around so much. What am I supposed to get from this? We're here. He comes in, swing, shift side. It's so close. The camera's so shaky. I feel like I can never really watch. Like, I don't think it adds anything. I think it doesn't follow the fight nearly as well as the Ahsoka fight does, because these angles are weird. I want to see them fight. I don't want to see close-ups of them just... Right? And like, this is just... Yeah, let's keep hitting the wall. I like that they put some lunges in for him in there, but... I feel like... they're really trying to sell me the intensity of this fight, rather than the fight itself being intense. Like, I feel like the editing's doing a lot of the work. The fight itself, much less. Dark Souls rolls. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the camera work. I think it leads down to the camera work. I think the fight itself is okay at times, but compared to the Ahsoka fight, with the camera work and the intensity there, I prefer the Ahsoka fight. So that's how I feel about this fight. I think it's the best one since the prequels, because the sequels utterly sucked and the Obi-Wan camera work was atrocious. Do you agree with me? If you do, write it in the comments and let me know. If you don't, tell me which fight you think is better and why. Obviously, the Ahsoka fight still has a lot of dumb stuff, the turning, the reverse grip, even though it's less cardinal sin than what happened in the sequels. But I was the most pleased with this one compared to what I've seen over the past few years. That's for sure. Let me know. Anyway, that's today's video. See you next time.